Hello everyone and welcome to Let's Play with AK, featuring me, your host Akukami. In this StarCraft 2 episode, we'll be taking a look at a game I played on ladder. This is going to be a TVZ matchup on Tal'Darim Altar. Starting off in the 2 o'clock position is me spawning as the blue Terran player. Meanwhile, my opponent, wow, what's the matter with me today? My opponent, RedFalcon, will be spawning in the 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock position as the Red Zerg player. If you notice, I stumbled on my words right there because I was thinking about filtersc's guide and yeah, just mentioning it right now as it is just early in the game. I've been noticing a lot of changes in my play recently. This game was actually from before I started reading and going through filtersc's guide. If you don't already know, there was a user on some StarCraft 2 forums that did come out with a guide. He called it Bronze to Masters, and it's a fantastic guide. I mean, my macro, which is something I've been trying to work on desperately and not getting anywhere, it was just an amazing guide. And ever since I started doing what the gentleman what he said in his guides, especially in the bronze tutorial. I mean, there's just significant changes, and big shout out to filtersc for those guides. And you know what? Although he may not be the best player in the world, I think that is probably the best tutorial I've ever seen and I've gone through. Um, Anyways, getting back into the game a little bit here. Went for that wall off, going for my 10 supply, 12 racks, another supply in this location, and yeah, going for no gas. We'll be coming out with a 1 racks gasless expand, as my opponent does have an expansion that is natural, and followed that up with a spawning pool and an extractor to start mining that Vespine gas. Probably going for that speedling upgrade, as it is a very common opening. I still don't know my timings on when stuff comes out, so not being able to catch when things come out. I probably should be reviewing my replays, just checking when things come out. Well, at least pro replays, so at least I have a better idea of when things should be coming out. As us lower level league players, you know, sometimes we make a lot of mistakes and things don't always come out on time. Anyways, my opponent did scout me with his first overlord in this direction, realizing that I'm not there. Sent another overlord here, as I send my own scouting SCV out into this location, going to be going in the wrong direction, counterclockwise, and yeah, won't be by process of elimination. After I scout out this location, we'll realize that he is here. Back at his base, going for that second extractor. Now this tells me that he's going for some kind of heavy push. Maybe roaches or banelings are certainly a possibility once he gets that banelings nest down. Going to be moving into this location, and I do spot this overlord coming into my base. At least I hope I do. Come on, Marines, there you go. Going to be shooting this overlord down, and yeah, that is one dead overlord. If you notice, I think this is the overlord. This is with the overlord buff. Actually, I'm not entirely sure. This might be after. Actually, I don't know. I really don't know. I forgot when I played this game. As my opponent says, noob move. Okay. So, anyways, going to be coming down with 2 refiners. Going to be mining that Vespine gas, certainly for upgrades and more tech. Moving another overlord into this location, probably to scout for any incoming drops, as my opponent drops a baneling's nest, and I do see this, and start building a wall. We'll be walling off this location with supply depots, and we'll have tanks out in that location. That's one other thing. After going through filters guide, I've been noticing that when I build things more often, and I've been watching my minerals, watching my SCVs, as he does emphasize that your SCVs are the most important unit in the game, especially during the early part of the game. And as you can see here, this is something I've been experimenting with, going for my racks before my add-ons onto my oh no, factory, I'm sorry. Going before I start adding on add-ons to my racks, and especially in TVZ. I just feel safer with a siege tank at my natural or somewhere within the front of my bases, as they're able to take care of that baneling aggression, as you can see right here. I think I built this earlier in response to seeing that baneling's nest, as I did want to come out with that tank as quickly as possible. And yeah, I could be wrong, but well, I forgot what I was thinking during this game. Going to be coming out with another refinery at my natural, taking one gas, as that's another thing I've been experimenting with, trying to keep my gas as low as possible until I absolutely need it. And I absolutely need it right now. As you can see, I'm hurting for gas. A bit of a mistake there. My timings were a little bit off. As my opponent starts moving into this location, I do notice that his banelings are finally coming up the ramp, but he doesn't have any zerglings in order to follow up the bust with, so he's forced to pull back for the time being, as he has to wait for some more zergling reinforcements. Going for a macro hatch in his base, RedFalcon, not doing much of anything else. Just sitting out in front of my natural, as I do move to saturate this location, saturating that gas. Going to be coming out with my first tank and that siege mode. And yeah, in terms of the gas, what I meant was trying to think ahead of time, and in terms of when I will be needing gas. And that's also something I've been noticing when I'm going a certain route. I start asking myself, do I need gas now? Should I start mining gas? And yeah, just go from there. Back at my opponent's base, going to be completing this macro hatch in his base soon. Coming out with an infestation pit. Did upgrade to lair, and I was expecting around this time to see for him to start building Mutalisk. So yeah, I should be coming out with an engineering base sometime soon if I don't already have it. Did go for my starport, and actually, this is something I've also been experimenting with in TVZ. I haven't been doing this lately because I've been just concentrating on my macro, but this Overlord Harass, I think it's a great way to harass your opponent in the early game, especially if you're doing a 1-1-1, because really, what can your opponent do? The only thing he can do is try to run away with his overlords, and yeah, as we know, the Viking has a very long range. Will be able to spot those overlords and shoot them down, and your opponent is forced to waste larva in order to rebuild that overlord. That's another 100 minerals, I believe. And yeah, it's just generally annoying, as you can supply block him too. Finally putting down an engineering bay, as I did forget to build one. Going for my fourth gas at my natural, and yeah, just continuing to macro up. My opponent does have that speedling upgrade finally, and banelings, and still waiting in that location. Coming out with another evolution chamber for further upgrades, as my opponent does go for centrifugal hooks. Going to be going for that baneling speed, as my Vikings still in search of some overlords. I need to do a better job of that. Actually, I have two Vikings out and no kills between them. Oh geez, not good at all. Finally coming out with some missile turrets in my base, as I am expecting that Mutalisk harass. I did scan in this location actually, and I did see the lair was up, and so trying to prepare for those Mutalisks, putting down some turrets around my bases, and coming out with another command center. Again, back to filters guide, building my command center a little bit earlier, as when I push out, that's when I feel most comfortable to start building a command center, or even before then. As I begin to gear up and push out, throw down my command center, and I think it's because of this aggressive expanding of mine that I don't know. I just feel more aggressive now that I've been actually using filters guide, and I think getting my Viking shot down there as I was trying to do some scouting. This Viking over. Hello. Why are you going over here? Did I miss that? Yes, I did. This was a missed rally point. We'll be pulling back with his forces all the way back to his base. I don't know why. Where are those banelings? Oh, oh yeah. My opponent did walk up my ramp with some of his banelings and his speedlings, and yeah, his banelings all got blown to bits. Did I actually shoot down something? Yes, managing to take the overlord that was in this location, as I did notice my opponent was supply blocked for a little bit. And yeah, that's what I mean. What can your opponent do? Fortunately for me, he didn't go for Mutalisk, and I was able to take out at least one Viking, as I do spot my opponent's army coming in this direction, but as you can see, I am adequately prepared for that. Um, like I said, what can your opponent do? It's not a whole lot your opponent can do if he's getting his overlord shot down and he doesn't have anything to defend against this. Deciding instead to go for infestors, did not decide to go for that Mutalisk harass, as I think he saw my Vikings, realized what I was doing, and finally put down a spire. Not moving out to shoot down this destructible rocks, as my command center, my expansion in this location will be delayed. Coming out with some more Zerglings, which are now 1-1 upgraded. As we take a look at my own upgrades, no upgrades. I don't even have stim. Oh, finally come out with 0-1 upgrades. Wow. And also coming out with that level 1 armor. Why am I shooting this? Okay, bit of a mistake there, I guess. Wow. I don't really know what to say. Going to be coming out with another hatchery here in this location and this location. That makes for 5 hatcheries. One, of course, macro hatch. And actually, I will pause the game right now, as the game does go on for a little bit. Yeah, just stay tuned for part 2 of this replay, and I will be posting a link in this video and in the description. So please check that out and stay tuned for part 2.